It's May 24, 2022. My name is Jimmy Van, and it is time to know your news tonight. My guest is a personality with Major League Wrestling. She happens to share my son's birthday, and one of her favorite things is driving with someone she loves and blasting music together. She is the interview queen, Alicia Atout. Alicia, how are you?
Hello, thank you so much for the lovely introduction and for having me on. I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Always great to talk to a local Canadian, local Torontonian even. So
Woohoo!
this is going to be fun. And here's what's going to happen. So I'm going to tell you about 10 of the top news stories of the week that are funny, stupid, or weird. I'm going to get your reaction. I'm going to ask you questions along the way. And for any of our viewers or listeners, if you would like to get your question or statement read on a future edition of Know Your News Tonight, or on one of our other podcasts on the KYN network, like Get the Flick Out of Here with Kate and Alex, or As Told by with Will Washington and Spokey, go to kynchat.com, leave a contribution of any size, and you can get your statement or question read. All right, Alicia, you ready to go?
Oh, let's do this. I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right, story number 10, reported by CNN. Are you
Okay.
a religious person?
Not at all.
That's totally perfectly okay. Have you
Yep.
have you experienced a religious event, like even as a witness, like I don't know, a baptism or a first communion or a bar mitzvah, anything?
I have not actually.
You
That is
haven't.
crazy. I have not, no.
Okay, well then this is going to be fascinating for you. So there was a 7-year-old girl at a Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Her name is
Mhm.
Brinley Heidebrink, and she had her
Okay.
first communion, and it was a little bit more memorable than most. So you know how it is, right? They got the big white dress on, and all of her family is there, and she goes up to the front of the church, and she's doing the ceremony with the priest. Something that she did as part of her first communion went viral. Any idea what it was?
Did she do some weird dance or something? I'm trying to think, what do people do nowadays? I'm not sure. I'm
That's
intrigued
not
though.
Not a bad guess. What she did was she chugged the communion wine like she was at a college kegger. Joel, do you got the video? There she is up there. There he gives her the chalice. Keep in mind she's 7, and away she goes. And she does not stop.
Oh my god.
Still going. Look at the priest. He's like, oh, and
Oh
there she,
wow.
and the watch. Look at her. Folds the hands, and away she goes. Look at that. So
Well, at least we're
just as good as the drinking performance was her walk away. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Folded the
Yeah.
hands and away she went. So I got to ask you, are you a drinker? Do you drink alcohol?
So, funny story with me and alcohol. I've tried so hard to find a drink that I absolutely love, and I can't tolerate beer. I can't do wine. I can do like tequila shots once in a while, like a night out with the boys or whatever after a show, but I just can't really take alcohol well. Like I just don't enjoy it. So the only drink I've come across that I love is a dark and stormy, which is ginger beer, bitters, and rum. That's the only thing that I ever order, and everyone makes fun of me for it when I'm out with my buddies, but yeah, I can't get on that train.
So you need alcohol where you don't taste the alcohol.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Have you tried a polar bear shot before?
I've never even heard of a polar bear shot.
Okay, so it's kind of like a pepperminty thing. See, I
Okay.
don't drink whiskey because I don't like the taste of liquor.
Mhm.
So I drink beer. I'm a beer guy because for me, beer on a hot summer day, it just kind of goes down. But when I'm say I'm with the boys and I want a shot or they want to do shots, polar bear. I think they say it's like a girly drink, a polar bear, but you taste nothing. It's basically just like peppermint. It's basically what it
Okay.
is.
Then I might have to try that one next time because I'm always looking for that drink that'll disguise the alcohol perfectly for me.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So, since you're not necessarily a connoisseur of alcohol, do you have any memorable, dare I say, impressive drinking performances that you want to talk about?
Oh.
And if not your own, maybe somebody where you were a witness to it.
Oh man, I mean, I won't name anybody to kind of put them out there, but I have seen an interesting amount of people just get absolutely wasted after wrestling shows and or concerts too, because I'm in both worlds. And I see the craziest of things. And I was actually interviewing a band for Knotfest a couple months ago, and they were telling me about this guy that was so sloshed at one of their gigs that he ended up taking a dump in the middle of the floor. And I just lost my mind when they were telling me this story live for the show. So yeah, alcohol can bring people to some interesting points. For me, I only ever in public get to the point where like I can feel a little buzz and then I call it a day. I love being completely alert. But yeah, so for me, no crazy stories, unfortunately, but I've seen some wild things for sure.
Fascinating. Story number 8 is going to be about a guy that got drunk and took a dump in the middle of the floor.
Yes.
It really is. It really is. All right, let's go on to story number 9, reported by Yahoo News. So, are your grandmother still alive?
One of them is, yes.
And are you close to her?
Used to be, not as much anymore. Have unfortunately slightly grown apart, but I still absolutely love her. So,
That's cool. And do you have any idea how old she is?
oh gosh, late 80s, I believe.
Late 80s. And do you have
Yeah.
any special names for her? Sometimes like my background is Dutch, and so my grandmother,
Mhm.
you'd call her Oma. Like, do you have any names
Yes.
that you would call her?
Yeah. So, one of my backgrounds is Palestinian, so we call the grandmother's Tata. So ever since I was a child, she's been Tata to me.
All right. And can you envision Tata ever getting into trouble?
Yeah. I could. I'm not saying anything crazy like let's arrest the woman, but I can see her stirring the pot a little bit.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. The things you learn doing this. So there's an 83-year-old woman out of
Mhm.
Waverly, New York. Her name is Edna Jane Hallett. And good old Edna Jane did get herself into trouble recently. What do you think 83-year-old Edna did?
Streaking?
That's a good guess. That's a good guess. So
I don't know.
83-year-old Edna Jane, she went ahead and robbed a bank.
Oh, no. Okay. I didn't think we were talking, like, illegal here. Holy crap.
Legal. Yeah. I tried to find her mugshot. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find it. I did get a picture of the bank. So I asked Joel, at least put up a picture of the bank so you can see that this was like a real thing. This is
Wow.
the Chemung Canal Trust in Waverly, New York. She walked in. She approached the teller. She had a handwritten note. She demanded money. She told the teller on the note, "I've got 2 hand grenades and a pistol." 83-year-old Edna Jane. She said, "If you cooperate, no
Edna.
one's going to get hurt." The teller gave her money. She left. They hit the alarm. Police showed up, caught her walking down the street. And Edna Jane has been charged with first-degree robbery. And if she's convicted, she's basically going to die in prison because she faces up to 25 years behind bars. So
Wow.
let me ask you this. Let's say you're 83, right? You got a long way to go, long way to go. But let's say you're 83. What the hell do you need money so bad for that you're robbing a bank at
That's
83?
that's a great question. I'm the kind of person who will sit on a park bench for, like, an hour and just try to think of people's lives as I'm watching them walk by, you know? So now I'm thinking of little Edna here wondering what kind of situation was she in where she thought, "Yeah, this is the solution today, and I'm just gonna walk my way down the street nice and slow and know that they're definitely not gonna pull the alarm on me." Like, what are you thinking?
Right. With 2
Oh,
grenades and a pistol.
yeah, wow. Oh my goodness.
Maybe she was looking for stories to tell her grandkids. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, maybe. She can tell them in her nice, prison visits, I guess.
Exactly, exactly, behind bars. All right, let's move on to story number 8. This is reported by WBNS 10 News. So I put on the intro that you like to drive blasting music because I saw that on your Twitter one day.
Mhm.
Do you have a vehicle of choice? Like, is there like a dream car for you?
So for me, I'm a huge '70s lover, so if I could get, like, a classic Mustang in some outrageous color or something, I'm talking, like, a nice kinda aqua or something like that, I would lose my
Really?
mind. Yeah, yeah, I think that would be, like, just so bitchin' to have. But, I'm not a huge car person, to be honest, so that's kinda like that if I see a car driving by when I'm getting my Ubers and stuff, and it's like, "Oh, yeah, you're looking for this car," I'm like, "I don't know what that is."
Right.
I got a license plate that stuff.
I do the exact same thing. I'm not a car guy either. I look
Yes!
for the license plate too.
Mhm.
Would you consider yourself more of like a car girl than a truck girl? Like if you had a preference?
Um, I guess so. I like cars that are a little bit above the ground because I pretty much puked in every single family member's car who had the lower ones, like growing up when I was a child. So I always needed a car that was not closer to the ground, but a little more elevated. So, we've broken the puke streak the last decade.
I thought you were heading back to the alcohol story again.
Oh no, 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 no.
Well, there's a 36-year-old man out of Columbus, Ohio. His name is Brett Red, and he reported that his truck had been stolen at a gas station, right?
Okay.
So police, they showed up and they were able to catch up to the truck. And Joel, I think you have the police dash cam video. Put up that police dash cam video and I'll talk over it if you got it. So there it is right there. The police
Uh-huh.
stop the truck and here comes the suspect out of the truck right here. He's a little bit, he's a little bit nervous and he's looking around. And what do you think he's going to do? He's watching, and away he goes.
Of course, of course.
Decided to run, but the police did catch up to him and they did arrest him. And he was identified as David Harrison. And here's my question for you, Alicia. There's a twist to this story. What do you think happened next?
Ooh. What happened next? Okay, let me think for a moment.
And it's not going to be on. It's not going to be on the dash cam video. What happened next?
Okay, okay. So they catch him, and then something else happens.
That's right.
Is he a part of the force or something weird? And they're like, "Oh, I know you. Why are you doing this?" I don't know. I have no idea.
You know what? That's a good guess. That's a good guess. So the police, they're looking at the incident report on the truck, right? So they can look and see other stuff that happened to the truck. 5 days before that truck was stolen by David Harrison at the gas station, the guy that they just saw in that dash cam, 5 days before he stole that truck was stolen at a landscaping company. And the person that stole that truck was Brett Red, the same guy that called the cops to say that the other dude stole it.
Oh my God.
Yes. So the guy that called it in stole it the first time. And so both of them, David Harrison and Brett Red, both of them were charged with receiving stolen property. How about that?
Sometimes I wonder, what are people thinking? Like, what is your thought process? Obviously they don't have one, but like, what brings you to that point? I'll never understand. Like, I love watching cops, live PD, all of that stuff is so fascinating to me.
Yep.
So, this is my jam. That's insane.
So, there were some stories on the news lately about like carjackings and stuff like that. Have you ever had anything stolen, big or small?
No, actually. Even when I'm out in public, I'm very like phone, wallet, keys, passport, like no one's taking my stuff away from me. So my phone's always in the like the purse pocket. There's no way. So yeah, I've been very, knock on wood, I've been very grateful for that. So yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. All right, let's move on to story number 7, reported by KATU 2 News. Have you ever done a big move from one place to another that required you to rent like a U-Haul truck or something like that?
No, actually, but potentially soon. So yeah.
Okay, good. So this is a story then you might want to pay attention to then. Because I was going to ask you next, like you spend a lot of time in the US. So I was going to ask you, have you had to do a big move from Canada to the US? So it sounds like you haven't had to do that yet.
Yeah, not yet. Yet being the key word.
All right. Well, Washington State troopers, they were out on parole one day. And, it's a regular day. They're doing traffic stops and they're looking for speeders and whatever. And they come across a U-Haul truck along State Route 97 right there in central Washington. And the cops decide, all right, we got to pull over this U-Haul truck. Any idea why they decided that they needed to pull over the U-Haul truck?
The back was open and there was something ridiculous in the back that they saw. Like I don't know. Maybe there were like a bunch of animals or something weird. I have no idea.
Excellent guess. Joel, put up the picture of the SUV. Or the U-Haul. I just gave it away. The U-Haul. The U-Haul had an SUV sticking out the back. There it is there. Oh, look at, there's another picture of it right there. The back is sticking out. You can keep the pictures up there for a bit, Joel. The back is sticking out. It was tied just in the one spot, as you can see there. I mean, you can imagine that thing. It could almost shimmy right out of there. Like they've only got it tied in one spot. So the driver was fined for failing to secure their load with safety chains. The guy's license was suspended. Both the U-Haul and the car were impounded. And so let me ask you this. Let's pretend, actually, you know what? You said that you might be doing a move. So this is good. So let's say that you got a big move coming, because I'm going to guess that wherever the SUV was going, they were not going to be staying there. And so that's probably why they decided, let's take the U-Haul, and then we'll put the thing there. And then, we got to leave with the U-Haul. So let's say you're headed to the US and you've got a big vehicle and you want that vehicle to get there, but you have a lot of other shit too. Alicia Atout's the project manager. How do you get the car to where you're going when you don't necessarily want to be there at that particular moment? How do you get it there?
Yeah, either hire someone to drive it, you get a buddy to do it for you, or if you're on your way, you can do the latch at the back where it like hooks up to the back of the U-Haul like any normal human being would, That's some Final Destination shit right there. That's terrifying.
Yep. I mean, part of it is creative, part of it is just plain stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, more the latter, but
And don't you think they'd fishtail? Like, let's say they picked up too much speed,
Yeah, you would think. I mean, at least they were pulled over before we were able to find any of this out.
Awesome. This is why Know Your News exists. This shit is all real. These people are all real. And I don't see it ending anytime soon. So let's move on to story number 6, reported by Fox 13 News. I've asked people on this podcast this before, and I'm going to ask you, have you ever been in trouble with the law?
Never.
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 Not a speeding ticket, not a parking
Literally,
ticket.
literally not once in my life have I had any negative conversation in terms of me doing something wrong with a cop. So
Wow. Good for you. Good
yeah.
for you. Well,
Thank you.
this next person needs to learn from you. So there's a 19-year-old woman out of South Florida. Her name is Janiyah Douglas. She was caught speeding. And
Okay.
like the movies, right? Where, okay, you're speeding and the cops get behind you. And then when they get close enough, the lights go on and the siren goes on.
Yes.
So that's what happened. But when the lights went on and the siren went on, Miss Douglas decided to just floor it. And so she took off, and eventually they caught her and they pulled her over and they got her for fleeing and eluding. But there's a twist to this story. See, when they arrested her, not only was she not upset, she was kind of happy about it. Any idea why 19-year-old Janiyah Douglas was happy to get arrested?
Was she? Oh, she was happy to get arrested. I thought you
Happy
were
to get
mentioning.
arrested.
Oh, I thought she was just super high or something. Uh, maybe she was fleeing from someone else and like needed help or something. So she was trying to cause some kind of distraction. That's a really dumb way to go about it, but maybe that I don't know.
Very good question. So the answer is she said getting arrested was on her bucket list. Joel, do you got the mugshot?
Oh my god.
There she is right there. Does not look distraught. Does not look upset. Getting arrested was on her bucket list. So she was taken to jail. Now, this is not a terribly serious crime, so I'm sure she's going to be fine. So I got to ask you, what is on your bucket list, Alicia Atout?
Ooh, all right. So one thing on my bucket list that's been there for ages is going to the UK. I've wanted this for so long, and I'm very grateful that very soon I will be announcing something. So,
Hey, good for
um,
you. Good for you.
yeah, just to walk those streets, look at the architecture, catch a show down there. Like I've wanted that for so long. So finally it gets to happen. I'm very excited about that. So that's on the bucket list. I would one day like to maybe do something insane like skydiving. Just say fuck it. just maybe wait till maybe that's what I'll do. I'll pull an Edna and do that when I'm 80, and just like that's
Awesome.
it's a fun way to say deuces.
You're going to wait till you're 83 and go skydiving.
Why not? Better than robbing a bank, I guess.
Awesome. Good for you. When you go to, I know you're not a beer person, but when you go to England, you should try a topper just one time. Just once.
Topper. Okay, so that's a beer, I'm assuming, like a
So it's a beer. The topper is like a lemon juice. And
oh,
I've been to England a
I
few
can't say
times
you're
and it's,
selling me.
uh, so you don't really taste it. You don't really taste it. So like it
Okay.
comes in a glass like this. You just put it on top, and it's just a thing they do there. I've been a few times, and I was with clients, and they were ordering toppers, like rounds of toppers, and that's what you do. You drop it in the beer, and then you chug it back.
Okay. I'm gonna take these notes and I'll try them and I'll let you know. We'll see. I'll be
Good.
honest though. I'll be honest.
Well, just remember the pound is what is it, like 2.5 the Canadian dollar? So keep that in mind too.
I know. It's like even when I go to the UK, it's like the conversion's always terrible, but at least the portions are twice the size. I'm like, you know what? Bang for the buck. I'm gonna make the best out
You're
of
making
it.
it up. You're making it up. Awesome. All right, let's go on to story number 5. This one was reported by the Pledge Times. So, what is your feeling when it comes to clinical trials? Medical experiments. We just had COVID, and obviously those vaccinations, right? They came as a result of clinical trials. You could argue
Right.
that we were all the guinea pigs for the vaccinations. Would you ever consider being a part of a medical study for anything? Like, I don't know, maybe you get like a terminal disease and you decide, what the hell, I'm gonna be part of this clinical trial. Would you ever consider being part of a medical study for anything?
I feel like it would have to be to that point where I'm out of options and I'm thinking to myself, okay, if it's either you're out of here, you can try this, then yeah, do whatever you want to me at that point if you think it's going to actually help me in that regard. But yeah, it's a really fickle thing, honestly. I mean, I think it's a necessity because even when it comes to a lot of the cures that we've had over the years, they were completely derived from those. But at the same time, a lot of them can be very sketchy and completely just batshit crazy and wrong. So I feel like if they're actually clinically proven and studied and, scientifically correct ones, then yeah, all for it. But it's a very fine line, there are multiple different types of them.
Everything you just said, just keep that in mind for this next story. So there's a 38-year-old
Oh,
man out of Venezuela. His name is Jose Daniel Lopez, and he claimed
okay.
to be a gynecologist. And he
Oh,
told his patients, "Hey, guess what? I have a new form of contraception. And this is a permanent solution. This is just what you need. You know what I mean? If you want to make sure you don't get pregnant with your new boyfriend or whatever, permanent
Right.
solution, revolutionary. At least 25 women fell for this and accepted this treatment. Surprise, surprise, the guy was not a gynecologist. He falsified his medical degree. Do you have any idea what this radical new form of contraception was that this guy came up with?
Was it something terrible, just like sticking something random up your hoo-ha? I don't even want to know.
I might isolate that clip and put it up on its own. He implanted lollipop sticks under the skin of their arm. Joel, do you have the picture, the x-ray picture, I guess, first? Oh, you put everything up. So there in the middle, you can kind of see the lollipop stick in the skin on the x-ray. On the right, that's what he actually implanted. So he put lollipop sticks under the skin of their arm. And then on the left is the dude's mugshot. And this is what happened. Now, look, I understand in some countries, some people don't have a lot of money and maybe they don't have a lot of education. And so maybe they're kind of low on options. But my question is, okay, even if you're in, say, a low income country and maybe you don't have the greatest education, don't you still have the wherewithal to know that a lollipop stick under the arm isn't going to do shit?
One would hope you would think that, yes. I can't speak for those 25 women. Oh my goodness.
At least 25 women.
That's a really scary thought to think. One, people would believe that, and two, that he was able to do that. Oh my goodness.
Several of them, big surprise, got pregnant because of course they did.
Wow.
And Mr. Lopez got arrested. Obviously, you saw his mugshot. He's charged with several crimes, including illegal practice of medicine and using false documents. So,
holy shnikes, that's terrible.
Isn't that something?
This is why I don't trust anybody. Like, this is just, oh my goodness, especially to that extreme. That's wild. No.
Yeah. These people really exist. It's really crazy. So we're in the home stretch. After this, go to knowyournews.com or youtube.com/knowyournews, and you can watch our after show called 321, where we'll talk about the final 3 news stories of the week. And again, go to kynchat.com, leave a contribution of any size, and your question or statement will be read on a future edition of a podcast in the Know Your News Network. But now it's time for story number 4, Alicia. You're going to like this one. This is reported by KERO ABC News 23. So I know you're in a relationship. And so in case he's watching, I hope that I do not accidentally make you show your hand. And maybe you're just going to make up your answer to this. I don't know. Have you ever had thoughts or dreams about the perfect engagement? Like, what to you would be the perfect engagement?
I've never really been that girl to think of her wedding or anything growing up, Like, I wasn't even when I was like late teenager, I was just so focused on my work and concerts and stuff. Like, I never really even cared to be with anyone. So it's like I never had that fantasy growing up. I mean, perfect engagement for me, just something chill, like something if we're just like having an intimate moment together, whether that's watching something together where we're just like vegging out, or I don't want something that's at a restaurant or something in public. I don't need anyone to cheer for me, like, something cute, even if it's like a hike and then it ends in that, or a picnic or something. But I'm pretty simple. Like, my favorite dates are the ones where we just stay in, eat pizza, and watch Netflix. So,
Very nice.
so he already knows I'm pretty chill when it comes to that stuff.
Awesome. So you do not want to have, you don't want to be proposed to and then everybody does the wave. You don't want any of that.
No. Oh God, I'd be cringing the entire time. Yeah, I might even have to say no at that point. No, I'm kidding.
I'm going to isolate this too. No, I'm just kidding. So there's a young man out of Franklin, Tennessee. His name is Myers Hart. I'm assuming he's not related to Brett the Hitman Hart. And he's been dating his high school sweetheart. Her name is Brooklyn Stevens. They've been dating for a while. And so Mr. Hart decided he's ready. He decided he's going to pop the question. So he went out and he got the engagement ring, and he decided, okay, while I'm waiting for the right moment to come, I'm going to hide the ring. And so he hid the ring in his car for safekeeping. Unfortunately, Mr. Myers Hart ran into a problem. Any idea what the problem was?
It fell between the car, because everything falls between the seats, and he couldn't get the ring anymore. He lost it.
That's a good guess. Joel, put up a picture of the car.
Oh,
yeah.
So wow, okay, I was way off.
Joel, leave it up for a minute. So Mr. Hart, he's driving with his girlfriend and his girlfriend's best friend, and they heard a loud bang. And the next thing they knew, the hood shot up and fluid spewed everywhere, and the whole thing went up in flames. Fortunately, everybody got out safely.
Good,
Uh,
good.
and so, Alicia, I got to ask you, what did Mr. Myers Hart do next?
Ooh. When did he go and get another ring? I'd assume. I'd assume that he can't find it in that rubble.
So the car was destroyed. The best friend that was in the car with him, she knew about the ring. She knew that he was planning to propose. So the
Mhm.
best friend went to the firefighters and she said, "Hey, there's an engagement ring in there. Do you guys think maybe you could take a look for it?" So they start sifting through the ashes and they find the ring box. And the ring box is not like completely destroyed. They open up the ring box and the ring is inside, perfectly safe, totally undamaged, in like pristine condition. Mr. Myers Hart, he gets the ring box and he decides right then, right there, with a smoldering car feet away, I'm going to drop down to a knee and I'm going to propose. And we've got some video footage of it. This was from the local news
Oh.
channel. Look at this. So the car is there, like the smoldering car is like nearby, and he's got the ring back. And right there, like on the highway, drops to a knee and proposes to her at the scene right there. And so I'll ask you, you said you'd like a chill engagement scenario. If you're her, Brooklyn Stevens, is that like the perfect, look at the ring box. Look at that.
That's insane.
So if that's you, is that like the perfect engagement scenario for you? Look at that.
I mean, by no means would I say perfect, but you know what could have been cute too if in that speech he's like, "Hey, we were close to death today and I would love to spend the rest of my life with you." I mean, that's pretty that's pretty cute.
Right? That's pretty unique, right?
Yeah, could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. So
Could have
I'd
been
say like
worse.
well done on that one. I approve. Stamp of approval.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank Alicia Atout for joining us. And Alicia, tell the people what you're doing and where they can find you.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a lot going on right now. You can catch me every single Thursday on MLW at 8 p.m. EST on our YouTube channel. Of course, the Clout Couple are featured on there. I also host for Knotfest, where I'm doing a bunch of stuff across their social medias. I am one half of the Worsties with Selena De Laurentiis. So if you just want to watch two chicks do some crazy stuff together, definitely hit up worstiesforever.com. And for all other updates, including merch items and interviews and everything else, including appearances, just hit up aliciatout.com.
Awesome. That'll do it for KYN tonight. Head on over to knowyournews.com or youtube.com/knowyournews for our after show 321. And we'll talk about the final three news stories of the week. Alicia, this was fun. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. This was a blast.